slippery slope, heavy with the bulk of burden. The talk is just a way to cope with the agony of burden. Go, 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 turn away, freedom from the liar. You are stronger, stronger than you know. Of he the great big liar, 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 liar. Run now before it's too late. Go, go, go. See the light. You're in there beyond the damage. Somewhere inside the fight, 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 fight. Rise, rise, rise to the shine inside the light. Rise, rise, rise. You're there beyond the hush. As a shimmer of the light, 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 light. Stand down, stand down. Mankind is on the fall, fall, fall. We are the viral sickness of audacity and the God. Chronic, he wears his honor like a cloak of inner secrets. The hand he kowtows down to is the gospel he's dumbed down to. Cloak and dagger, he's a mask to his true identity. Smoke of farcical swagger, damn the truth of his indemnity. Let it burn, let it die, die, die. The man is but an alien. Seeing eyes focused to mirage of shape-shifting alien. Lies, lies, settles the perversion of non-nudity. Marketed under the guise of zombie land lucidity. Set fire to the consciousness that keeps the world at bay. Lift yourself above the churn. Slide tight into the curve. Understand, life is but a left-hand turn. We live inside a frill of thought, prisoners of the stain. The best and worst of divergence, overthinking the future to fame. You're a passerby to your own existence, an insomnia of red-rimmed eyes. A truth no man can outdistance from behind the grim of his lies. Day becomes night, fading. Time is its latest compromise, and a cop out of the chatting as the dream dies, then flies to a seizing of the shading. Time flies and flies and you're a spin of upside down, where vision is never altered as you acclimatize the frown to direct it upside down. Who is the manic fooling? He's been nothing but a throne in a game of pulling strings, in a game of winner take all. He settles into an aspect of the former of himself. He knows the time is nigh, yet he can never escape himself. Day becomes night, fading. Time is its latest compromise, and a cop out of the chatting as the dream dies, then flies to a seizing of the shading. Time flies and flies and flies. The man of great facility is a stipend of esteem. Man is an axis of his ego, money, and a swindler of the dream. Money, money, money. He turns from where he stumbles, humbles to a shade of himself in black, black, black. Then blames his own insistence for the spill of superficial lack. Sends it out to the strata, the consequence of response, to spin the genie of wishes to a spit of nonchalance. The line that music, the 180 awaits his pride, caught halfway between himself and where his stigma died. He's a manifest of destiny, fading light upon the distance, squanders himself into resistance of his compromised existence. There's a science to schematic and a blueprint for the being. Each man is but cymatics to a self that he's been fleeing.
Sends it out to the strata, the consequence of response, to spin the genie of wishes to a spit of nonchalance.
The dynamic of the ego is a call out to the conscience.
The reflecting synchronicity
Is a mirror of his conscience. just a way of actors to stand as their enigma. They put him down, hold him there, believing he's to blame for the prejudice they carry. They're no better than the game. Stop, 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 it's all a facade as they wait around unclean, like a flock of sheep indifferent. He's a side of the unseen. Highbrow congregation, send the troops out to the battle. Risk the life, punch the clock, like herds of slaughtered cattle. Line the pocket of the rich, fall dead and dead into the dust. Ash to ash, goodbye. Send him into the abyss to die and die and die. How do they sleep to reconcile the deed when the future is burning down in a flame of a killer's creed?
can buy.